Today, we are taking a trip to the heavyweight champion of the lumber world. We are standing in the middle of a facility that feels less like a workshop and more like a small city. This is the largest wood processing plant on the planet, and over the next 15 minutes, we're going to follow the insane, loud, and high-tech journey of a single log, from a rugged, dirty tree trunk lying in the mud to the polished high-end masterpiece in your living room. We're talking about giant claws, lasers, massive ovens, and machines that can peel a tree like a potato. So grab your hard hats and put on your safety glasses, folks. We're about to make some serious sawdust. It all begins right here, the yard. Just look at the scale of this place. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by a pile of laundry at home, imagine being the manager here. We are looking at thousands of cubic meters of raw timber, stacked up like the world's biggest game of Jenga. This is the waiting room. These logs have just arrived from the forest, and they are wild, rough, and totally unprocessed. And getting them organized? That's where the heavy artillery comes in. Check out these cranes. If you remember playing the claw machine at the arcade and failing miserably to win a stuffed bear, you'll appreciate the skill here. These operators are piloting massive grappling hooks that lift tons of wood like they're picking up toothpicks. It's a mechanical ballet. The trucks roll in, the dust flies, and the sorting begins. Now, they can't just throw everything into the factory willy-nilly. Think of it like sorting M&Ms. They separate the logs by species and size. The big guys go to one pile, the smaller ones to another. Because when the machines start running, precision is key. If a log is too gnarly, too crooked, or just too weird, it gets sidelined. Only the VIP logs get to move forward to the next stage. And trust me, they're gonna need to look their best because their first stop is essentially a brutal spa treatment. As the logs move onto the conveyor belt, they enter phase 2, the cleanup. You see, trees are messy. They've got bark, moss, dirt, and probably a few bugs hitching a ride. We can't have any of that in our furniture. So, enter the debarker. This machine is a beast. It's basically a giant, angry exfoliating scrub. As the log passes through, mechanical teeth rip away that rough outer layer. It's noisy, it's violent, and it is oddly satisfying to watch. It strips the log completely naked, revealing that clean, pale meat of the wood underneath. It's kind of like peeling a potato, if that potato was 40 feet long and weighed 2 tons. Once the bark is gone, the logs are looking fresh, but they're still too long to handle. So chop chop, they move to the cutting station. Massive circular saws drop down and slice the trees into specific, standardized lengths. This isn't a guessing game. Lasers measure every inch to maximize the yield. We don't want to waste a splinter. Now that we have these perfect, clean wooden cylinders, we are ready for what I think is the coolest part of this entire factory. Welcome to the peeling line. If you blink, you might miss it. That's how fast this happens. Imagine you have an old school pencil sharpener. You stick the pencil in, turn the crank, and a shaving comes off, right? Now scale that up to industrial proportions. The machine clamps onto the ends of the log and spins it at a terrifying speed. Then a razor-sharp blade presses against the side, and here is the magic. It doesn't make chips or sawdust. It creates a continuous, endless sheet of wood. It looks exactly like unrolling a giant roll of toilet paper or a massive fruit roll-up. It is absolutely hypnotizing. The log starts thick, and in a matter of seconds, it's whittled down to a tiny core, leaving behind this long, beautiful ribbon of veneer. But don't let the speed fool you. There is some serious tech happening here. See those flickering lights? That's a laser scanning system. It's checking the thickness of the wood thousands of times per second. If the sheet is too thick or too thin by even the width of a human hair, the computer adjusts the blade instantly. It's giving the log a haircut with NASA-level precision. So, we've turned a log into a long sheet of paper-thin wood. But we have a problem. It's soaking wet. A fresh tree is basically a sponge full of water. If we try to glue these sheets together right now, your new table would warp, twist, and curl up like a stale potato chip within a week. Not good. So, the wood needs to go to the sauna. These sheets travel into a massive drying oven. It's essentially a conveyor belt pizza oven, but it's about a football field long. The heat is intense, cooking out the moisture and stabilizing the fibers. This ensures that the wood won't shrink or expand later on. When they come out the other side, they are crispy, dry, and ready for Judgment Day. This is the sorting phase. Think of this like a dating app for wood. We've got high-speed cameras and AI systems scanning every inch of these sheets. If a sheet is smooth, clean, and beautiful, that's a swipe right. It gets graded as Class A. This will be the face of the furniture that you actually see. If it has a few knots or holes, it gets friend-zoned. It's graded as Class B or C, and it will be used for the inner layers of the plywood, where looks don't matter as much. And if it's too ugly, swipe left. It gets recycled. Now that we have our sorted, dried sheets, it's time to build the industrial lasagna. This is the assembly line. The sheets run through rollers that coat them in a special, super sticky adhesive. Then, robots, or sometimes very fast humans, stack them up. But here is the secret sauce. They don't just stack them all the same way. They alternate the grain direction. One sheet goes north-south, the next goes east-west, and so on. Why? Physics, baby. Wood is naturally strong along the grain, but weak across it. By crossing the grains, we lock the fibers together. This is what makes plywood so incredibly tough. It's actually stronger than solid wood in many ways because it can't snap easily. Once the lasagna is stacked, it goes into the big squeeze. This is the hydraulic press. This machine is terrifyingly powerful. It clamps down on the stock of wood with tons of pressure and high heat. It's literally cooking the glue and crushing the layers together. Under this force, the separate sheets fuse into one solid, rock-hard board. It goes in as a stack of floppy paper and comes out as a slab of lumber you could build a house with. We are in the home stretch now, folks. We have a board, but it's a little rough around the edges. You wouldn't want to eat dinner off it yet. You'd get a splinter. It's time for the beauty parlor. The boards run through massive sanding machines. These belts spin at high speed, buffing the surface until it is baby bottom smooth. From there, we move to the customization zone. This is where the modern tech really shines. We've got CNC machines, robots with router bits that cut the boards into specific shapes. Whether it's the curve of a chair leg or the perfect rectangle of a desk, these robots carve it out with millimeter precision. Finally, the makeup is applied. Depending on what the customer ordered, the wood might get a clear, glossy varnish to show off that natural grain, or a durable melamine coating to make it scratch resistant. This is the moment where it stops looking like construction material and starts looking like, well, like furniture. But wait, before anything leaves the building, it has to face the final boss, the quality control team. These inspectors are eagle-eyed. They're checking for the tiniest scratches, bubbles, or dents. If a piece isn't perfect, it doesn't get packed. It's that simple. Once it gets the stamp of approval, it's boxed up, loaded onto a forklift, and put on a truck. And there you have it. The journey is complete. We started with a muddy, bark-covered log shivering in the yard, and 15 minutes later, we have a pristine, high-tech piece of engineering ready to be shipped to your door. It's pretty wild to think about, right? The amount of technology, energy, and human effort that goes into something as simple as a wooden board is mind-blowing. It's a mix of brute force and delicate precision. So the next time you sit down at your dining table or lean back in your wooden chair, give it a little pot. It's been on quite an adventure to get to you. I hope you guys enjoyed this deep dive into the Disneyland of dust. If you learned something new today, go ahead and smash that like button. It really helps the channel out. And let me know in the comments, would you trust a robot to build your house? Thanks for watching, stay curious, and I'll catch you in the next video.